Hi, this is Hi Bob Poor Bob, and we're about to play some Ultimate General Civil War.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Warbob Plays Ultimate General Civil War. So, today we are picking up where we left off on the last one. It's been about 2 weeks since I played. I played just a little bit the other day just to test out some things. I am playing on the new version of the UI mod. It is a little bit different. Captures are a little bit easier whenever they're all grouped up like this in the corner, which is kind of nice. But they really do a pretty good job of not just surrendering for no reason out in the open. From what I can tell, I did disable the change that you made in the new mod where you can not break off skirmishers and immediately reattach them. But I'm not really abusing skirmishers here, so it doesn't really affect anything. And pretty much we're just wrapping up this section of the battle, going ahead and getting them over here into melee, and just going to kind of wipe out the remainder of this force. We do finish up a little bit early on the battle, but overall we do pretty good, keeping it to a pretty much maximum amount of time, moving guys around, keeping our stamina going up. So we're going to rush in here. There are a couple of surrenders here that are a little unexpected, but I'm guessing that's just because I really pushed in and got a whole bunch of shots in on those guys kind of suddenly, and that has a tendency to crack some guys, so I'm not really too surprised there. So we're getting our surrenders there. Got them all surrendered. 33 minutes left on this section, so we're a little bit ahead of time here. And just kind of seeing how many units there are, getting these units moved out of that corner so I can, use them in the next part of the battle. That 33 minutes is a little bit not good. It keeps me from having as many units in position as I would have liked, and I didn't have my cavalry moved down as far as I probably wanted to. And even these guys didn't even have time to get set up. But we'll get that corrected here pretty quick. And it takes them a little bit to get it moved across the river and all that. So it's really not too bad, but I would have liked to have some more of the guys in a little bit better position a little bit earlier. But overall, it's not a bad setup. Going to get all these guys moving to their new positions. We are going to lose a few more men than I would like in some of these spots, but overall it's not too bad. Moving up the ordnance rifles because they do better at a little bit closer range than the parrots, so we want to move them back and move the other forward. We're moving around the flank on both sides, pushing both from the top and the bottom. Crossing the river down there is a little weird how they don't guard that other crossing, so I can cross and get in behind them. I think that's kind of, I don't know, not exactly the best for the AI. Like, they should at least put one unit over there just to make sure I don't cross the river, in my opinion. I think it's a little bit of an oversight of the game, and it would be kind of cool if you could find a way to correct it, but I bet that basically all it is that they just see this as being the best place to cross, and they all just kind of run for it. And I mean, it works out for the best for me, so I can't really complain all that much. Here we decided to go ahead and go a little bit more aggressive on guarding the river crossing, just because I feel like it might be a good idea to keep them from forming up too much on this side. feel like there could be some pretty good benefits from that. We've got some okay cover with some of those units there. I feel like I don't really know how to do this part. Defending this side of the river at some of these spots just is not very efficient, and it leaves some guys hanging out there in the open that I really would prefer not to be quite so out in the open. But at the same time, you get some really nice shots on some guys, and it's really hard to not take what you're given there. Now, the way I move up this guy is a little bit bad. I should have done that differently. They just don't fire. Gotta reattach them and get them moved up there. I lose quite a few men there for no reason, and my men don't even fire until quite a bit later. It takes a long time to get these guys moved around here. And, just one unit of infantry down there would really put a pretty big hamper on me doing this, surrounding them that way. Should have had those guys moving down a little bit sooner. Doing a pretty good job of getting these guys before they get too far, but those two units headed to the south there, I really should have had those units up there sooner to contain them. I feel like that's a pretty big oversight there that I really should have corrected sooner. Overall, it's not a bad run, to be honest, but I just feel like there's some things that I really could have improved on. One of the biggest is that sniper that took 110 losses. That is really high for a sniper. Taking almost 1/3 casualties there. Over 1/3 casualties there. It's pretty bad. But we've gotten some good captures. We're, for the most part, not taking too many casualties, except for a few here and there. A few units here and there are taking a few more than I would have liked to get those guys running up there, because they really should have already been there. And we're getting some cover next to the river there, but not a whole lot. So we're going to need to move in those snipers to get some shots on their flanks and rear to keep them from doing too much damage to my units. Of course, they are going to start routing back across the river, which is kind of dangerous because I don't want them to get in range of my snipers. So we go ahead and move our melee cav forward there to contain that. We are taking a few shots here that we probably didn't really want to, but overall it's not too terribly bad. So here we start moving in that cavalry to go ahead and contain them on that side of the river, and go ahead and move in our infantry as well. Try to get some captures, which, you know me, I love to go for those captures. So we go ahead and launch the charge there. Keep moving up those units. Need to get those units up there as well. So many units, so little time. It's just kind of the way it goes. And those guys do a pretty good job of getting in there, getting quite a few kills on some of these units really fast. Those melee cav are just deadly. But of course, once again, it comes down to the fact that their units just go. My cavalry just goes straight through that unit. I told it to attack that one, and instead, it moves straight through it, which is really disappointing. It is one of my biggest pet peeves about this game, is that a lot of the time cavalry just don't have the presence to stop a unit from going straight through it. But it absolutely just tears up units whenever it's 2-on-1, even with the decreased bonuses that he's given them. I think it's only like a 45% debuff to the enemy. A little bit disappointed about that shatter there, but nothing you can really do about that. You're going to have some shatters. It just kind of is the nature of this game. We've still got our death ball of cavalry there, and they're just eating through that unit. I mean, I just saw it drop by like 50. There's another 50. There's another 50. Like, in seconds, they're just eating through those units. It's absolutely atrocious what a stack of cavalry like that can do to units. It is absolutely amazing. We did lose another officer here. I'm a little bit disappointed that I lost track of this. I should have been more careful about that and not let that happen, not let my men take that extra volley there. But for the most part, you can tell that most of the captures that I got were relatively normal. They weren't crazy. They didn't just surrender out of nowhere for no reason. Like, my men are on top of them and taking them out whenever they get those captures. So I don't feel like the changes that he made to captures really breaks the game. It just smooths it out a little bit, keeps you from feeling like no matter what you do, it's never going to work. And obviously here it works really well, but I've got the numerical advantages. I am doing everything that I can to put myself in positions to get those captures. They're not just getting captures for no reason. Of course, here I really want to get this capture on this guy that's retreating back that way. I don't want him to get into melee with that artillery, which, of course, or to recapture his own unit. And I don't think we're going to get a capture here. I think we're going to shatter him instead, but we did a good job of keeping him from getting into anything he shouldn't. So overall, it's a pretty good little run we had there. I don't know exactly when he shatters, but I'm guessing it's here pretty soon. Looking down there at that mini map, and I still see him there. So he's still out there ahead of him. But I think pretty soon here he's going to disappear. Which is fine. Let's see. Is he going to disappear yet? No, still there. And it almost looks like he breaks away here. Oh, there it is. He shattered. Looks like. Finally. That took a long time to get that guy to shatter. I don't even see the units falling back from him either, so it was a pretty good little run he had there, but we caught up to him and kept him from doing anything too crazy. Here we're going to get a good shot on Christ. Really, really do a number on him. Moving up all our units of infantry here. They get off a little bit of a volley there, which is fine. Doesn't really hurt too much. We had good cover. And now we start arraying our cavalry to go ahead and take another shot at them. And instead they start charging, which is fine. We get off a pretty good shot there. We get a couple guys into melee, and we miss one unit. There's still a unit of 350 cavalry, no, 400 cavalry, just sitting up there, not doing anything. And that guy should have been on Christ, so as to not allow him to do some of these crazy things that he's about to do. Well, that unit of 216 there, is in a really bad spot. Our unit just fired into him, and I lost 30 men. There is a little bit of firing going on by other units too, but my unit was at least a chunk of that, if not a good chunk of it, which is really disappointing. Like, I really hate killing my own men with this. But there's nothing you can really do about that. In a melee like this, it's a little bit hectic. And we did finally get those 2 units of cavalry in there, and look at that. They get that capture right off the bat. And Just wish that that unit had been in that position a little bit sooner to get that capture before some of the damage was done to some of my other units. I really think that that could have been handled a little bit better by me. And here, you know, once again, my units are firing into my own units, and Cook just goes straight through those units like they're not even there. But we're making sure to not allow too many units to get out. We do want one unit to live because we still have 3.5 hours on this battle, so we don't want this battle to end right now. Get a good shot on the general there, and he shatters. We do not want our melee cab to be running off into Nowheresville, so we go ahead and call them back before they go too far. And from here on out, we're just having guys run. That's pretty much it. We're going to run down this unit just a little bit further. We are going to capture Cook quite a bit before the end, but I'm not sure I even show capturing him because it kind of draws out here. He routes all the way almost down to the corner. So that just goes to show that really the surrender mechanic has not been changed that much. Not really. Like, if it had been changed that significantly, that guy would have surrendered as soon as I charged a unit of cavalry from behind and in front, and he just took a volley from my infantry just seconds before that. Like, if they were really all that changed, he would be surrendering right now. And instead, we're going to have to run him all the way down to the corner pretty much, just eating his men. Look at how fast that thing is ticking down. That's 50 men in one volley there, and he is just getting eaten up there. And yet he is still just fine with running and running and running and running all the way down there. And we do get a few more units in. We got 2 units there, and I think here in just a second we're going to go ahead and skip ahead to the end of the map here, because this is not anything exciting at this point. I don't know if he actually surrenders by the time you can see there I've got those cavalry that are going to go down there and help. And here we skip to the end. So now we've got that last unit routing down there towards the corner. We had some snipers come up and get a shot on his rear whenever he was walking up to take shots on my men up there. And we're just going to keep him routing with those snipers. Snipers are like the best for this last unit here, to keep them from accidentally coming back whenever they shouldn't. We get a capture on him right there. About 10 minutes left in the match, and I will be back with some commentary. So, it's been long delayed, and did not do particularly well on my losses. But here it is. 17,827 captures. This is using his new UI mod, but I disabled the fact that I can't detach and reattach skirmishers instantly. I know what that'll do to my gameplay. It'll change some things, but I can just pretend that I can't just machine gun them off, and I'm not going to machine gun them off, so I will just use them less aggressively in those kind of situations. I'll still use them to stop them from charging and doing other things, but I'll try to be less abusive of them going forward most of the time. I might still go ahead and do that thing at Fredericksburg, because only getting one unit just is terrible. So we outnumbered them, and we killed a lot more of them than we lost. Overall, it was a good battle. He toned down the amount of stuff I'll get back, so we'll look at that. Don't know exactly how much he toned it down. We did very well on both getting people to a higher into the colonel realm and getting them, got another major general to a lieutenant general. Didn't get any new major generals, which is fine. Didn't really need any more major generals or lieutenant generals, either one. Though with lieutenant generals, I guess having 3 of them will be nice to be able to put one in charge of good size armies at Fredericksburg. Mostly we're just looking to increase the number of brigadier generals we have and just the overall rank of our command staff. So getting any more lieutenant colonels that we can. But obviously we did very well in the department of getting more of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we did get one more major general. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 at Jared. 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 promotions and 2 wounds. I can't really fault myself for that. I think that was a good battle. Captured a good number of 10-pounder parrots. That'll be good. That's like 2 more batteries at the size I'm making them, right? I'm making them 10 9s. Am I making 9s or making 12s? I don't know. Maybe I'm already making 12s and it won't really be that much good for me, but almost 10k Harper's Ferries. I mean, can't really complain about that. And quite a bit of supply. Not as much as it could be, but once again, can't really complain. Got a few Sharps 1855s, which don't impact anything. A few Remingtons to replace my losses in cavalry. I did lose a pretty significant amount of cavalry there. Not gonna lie, that was pretty hefty amount of cavalry, but I feel like I use them in a way that I really like. I really like using them a little bit aggressively. I really liked the charge that I did up there on that side of the river and got like 4 units in there. I know I probably took a couple shots that I might not have had to, but I really liked the way that went. And overall, I was pretty happy with how it went. Let's look at the Union kills. So a few units got 400. After that, it's all under 250 kills. I mean, they had 1 artillery at 243, and everybody else is even lower. I think that this is extremely good, and I think the Iron Brigade was the one that caught my my snipers. So like 100 other kills with snipers, which is pretty bad, but yeah, my losses on those snipers were pretty bad. But besides that, I mean, you look at this and they had units that didn't get any kills, which is pretty good. We do need to look at the ones that we captured of theirs and see if any of those stood out as heavy hitters. 368, 324, 250, 237, and then goes lower from there. So there were 2 big hitters in there as well. So we did have a couple more guys that got a couple more kills than I would have liked. I would have liked to keep it all under 300, but 324 and a 368, and then the units that were actually there, like they kept 430 and 427. So 4 units that were really outside the range that I would like, but quite a few units that are well within what I like. So overall, a good number. 3,000 kills on some units here, pretty good. This Harper's Ferry, it was a little bit painful there. Wish that it didn't put there. Yeah, they're up there way too high. These 500s are a little bit high, but they just get caught in places. It's just nothing you can do about it. A 400, a little bit high still. Once I get under 400, I'm pretty happy with it, just because there's a lot of units in here that are going to get much better than that. So, yeah, this sniper, 1,300 kills and 3 losses. So, and that's what the other sniper should have had as well, to be completely honest. They should not have lost 100 men in here, 110 men, and only got 744 kills. Man, that's pretty bad right there. Not gonna lie, that was definitely not optimal. Once they lost that many men, I kind of held them back probably more than I should have too. Didn't let them get into good positions because I was afraid of losing even more of them. And overall, artillery is lackluster at best for me. I mean, that's the one thing I really could improve on a lot, is getting my artillery into the right spots, but my infantry are always pushing so fast that my artillery just has a huge problem keeping up. You can see what our best artillery is. Of course, it's a 24 pounder. And, well, let's actually sort it by kills. Yeah, 24, then two 10-pounder parrots, and then those 6-pounders that were sitting right at the gate waiting for those guys to come through. We're right there with them. Then everybody else is just falls off until we get down here to some ordinances that were basically stuck in the city that couldn't move out very fast. I do wish that the guys that were stuck in the city were all those cavalry units. It would have been better, because the cavalry can actually get out of the city fast enough. But overall, it wasn't a bad showing. I mean, this is a bad showing. My 20-pound parrot was one of my worst, which is really kind of sad for a unit that could be so good. It probably spent too much time moving or firing at units that are too close to it or too far. Can't be too far away, but it is what it is. Of course, I'm going to gain 1,000 men. Robert E. Lee, and so that's 11,400 troops more. I lost like 7,400 approximately, which isn't great numbers, but 300,000 money. It's a pretty good amount. That seems higher than normal. I don't know. I wonder if anything got tweaked with that. Of course, we're going to go 2 into medicine at this point. 47 to 52,000. Not bad. No, I mean, that one's 200,000. I don't know why that other one got me 300,000. That's a lot. It seems like way more than it should have been. But maybe that's what it's supposed to be at. Well, guys, it's been fun. I'll try to put out another one this week or so. That's pretty much it for this one. You guys have a good one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. So we're going to have a little bit of a after the end of the video where I, once again, go over the fact that I had 90,630 troops against their 77,393. So I outnumbered them about 10 to 8.5, according to this outnumbered ratio over here. I did not do all that great on the kill to death ratio. Even with medicine, it's only a 10.5, which isn't bad, don't get me wrong, but it's not really the number that I would like to have. I'd like to have more like a 15 or a 16 to kind of match with what I've been trying to do. But overall, we all knew that I wasn't going to get a 47 like I did in the first bull run. And even getting the 20 that I got in the second bull run, just, I don't know, that wasn't going to be possible. But I was still hoping to get a little bit above 10 to 1. Overall, lost about 7.1% of my troops, which isn't too terrible. I believe that's about right. I think that's after medicine numbers right there. Yeah, and then this one is like before medicine, I think. So after medicine, lost about 7.1% of my troops. They lost about 87.7% of their troops, which is extremely well. We saved about 1,000 men because of medicine. So between that 1,000 men and the 11,400 men we gained, we got basically like 12,400 men and lost 6,400. So we gained about 6,000 men total. So we're somewhere around 96,000 men now, give or take, which should be pretty good going forward. I'm a little bit disappointed in some of my losses. I really want to play it again, but right now I just don't have the time to be playing it over and over again, or the drive. Gotten into a new game, Borderlands, and I've been playing a lot of that. That's why I haven't been putting out a video a day like I had been. So I think I'm just gonna play this once. This is my first playthrough, basically, on this run, and overall, it stacks up fairly well against other people's playthroughs on Legendary. It is not exceptional by any means. It is basically no different than everybody else's runs as far as, well, okay, so it's a little bit better than everybody's runs. Not terribly better. Obviously, my 10 to 1 kill to death ratio is looking pretty good. Nobody else got above 7. So I faced off against less men than some of them somehow. I don't understand how, but I faced off against less men than even Palo Alto, and he was doing I think the Palo Alto run, what I've been told, was actually a Major General campaign even, and somehow I faced less men than him. I'm really confused about that. I don't know why maybe it's just that I've been killing so many more men than him, maybe? I don't know. I don't feel like I've been getting that many kills. Oh, that's our army size. Their army size. Yeah, I faced the biggest army. Never mind. I also had the biggest army, faced the biggest army. That all makes sense. Perfectly normal stuff there. I was about to say, that's really weird. Yeah, what was I, like 80? The biggest one there is 75. And I faced 77. So barely more. But it was slightly more. Of course, my last campaign on Antietam, I only faced... Wait a second. I faced 92,000 and only had 77,000. That's crazy. But it all worked out. I still got them all killed. I took less losses in the last one, which is weird. About 500 fewer losses. Of course, I didn't get the captures that I did in this one either. So those weapon captures are going to be huge. 10,000 captures of weapons. That pretty much makes up for the fact that I lost 6,000 men. You know, I gained 12 and lost 6, so I gained 6,000 men. So I will have enough weapons to outfit my entire army again. So I net gained 4,000 weapons on that. That's crazy. Like, absolutely insane. I might not even have to keep breaking down my units. I might be able to just reinforce all my units up to 2,500, and maybe that'll get everybody where I need them. Well, guys, once again, this has been the after show with Warbob, and I was happy to give you guys a little bit extra commentary here. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.